We live in a time when most people try to cram morality into a spreadsheet. If we put in the right stuff, what's the greatest good for the greatest number?
Well, sure, that sounds nifty and noble, but it isn't really. Let's not kid ourselves. This kind of thinking is also what gets us censorship, wars, and sacrificing the occasional troublemaker so the rest of society can feel cozy. That kind of trade ain't cool with me. Is it with you? Let's poke a few holes in the whole greater good idea and see if we can find something more honest. So, what is utilitarianism? All right, quick rundown. Utilitarianism says, do the right thing that makes the most happiness for the most people. That's essentially it. Nice bumper sticker, huh? It treats people like happiness buckets, and the goal is to fill as many buckets as possible, even if you gotta knock over a few in the process. Problem is, this whole system's got more holes than a government budget. Let's go through a few. First is the measurement problem. First, let's ask the obvious question. How do you measure happiness? Like, seriously, is one guy's mild discomfort worth another gal's emotional breakthrough? What about 10 strangers' convenience versus one person's entire life falling apart? These aren't math problems, they're moral ones. But utilitarianism acts like there's some magic calculator out there crunching soul points. Spoiler, there ain't. What you end up with is folks making decisions as if they've got that magic calculator. Usually it's just whatever some expert or bureaucrat says is best for everyone. These are the central planners. But that's not morality. That's just central planning with a halo. Second thing, this whole setup turns individual people into spare parts. If it's all about the group total, then there's no hard line saying don't harm this guy. If frying one innocent person somehow leads to the total score on the happiness board going up, well, utilitarian logic says go for it. That's how we end up with quiet censorship to keep the peace, throwing rebels under the bus to stabilize society, or calling it collateral damage when a few regular folks die in the name of some big political goal. From a voluntarist standpoint, that's backwards. Morality's whole job is to protect people from being used like ingredients in someone else's stew. And from a Stoic's point of view, if you do wrong, no matter the outcome, you've already lost the only thing that's truly yours, your character. Third issue, even if we wanted to maximize happiness, we don't actually know how. Life's messy. Choices ripple out there in ways no planner can predict. Not governments, not think tanks, not even that one smug friend who reads economics blogs. We'll fix this with one big policy. Almost always means we'll break something else we don't understand. But utilitarian thinking kind of depends on pretending we do understand, and that's a problem. Voluntarism says, since nobody has that kind of clairvoyance, maybe don't give anyone the authority to run other people's lives. Let folks experiment, adapt, and figure things out voluntarily. That mess seems to work out better than utopias do. Last point. This one really grinds my gears. Once folks get used to saying, it's for the greater good, they can justify almost anything. We need surveillance for safety. We need control for stability. We need to crack down for unity. Once those words are in the air, the knives usually come out. And the people pushing it? Funny how their version of the greater good always lines up with them getting more power, more control, and fewer people questioning them. A Stoic keeps an eye on that kind of thing. We're supposed to be suspicious of our own cravings for control, not baptize them in utilitarian math. So, what's the alternative? Well, you don't need a social calculator. You just need some simple ground rules. Don't initiate violence or deception. Only deal with folks who consent to the deal. That's kind of the good neighbor oath or the anti-subjectivist manifesto, right? And whatever happens, don't sell out your character for a shortcut. Voluntarism and Stoicism both say, morality ain't about managing the world. It's about how you treat the people right in front of you. Utilitarianism wants you to believe that people are just numbers, and your job is to shuffle them around until the total gets high enough. I say people aren't numbers. They're not chess pieces. They're not pawns in your utopian scheme.
And I've got to say, if using a spreadsheet is your system and you go in there and crunch numbers to figure out the greatest good for the greatest number, there's a problem with your system if it means that individuals are harmed. It's a bad system.